Hello, Lagos. Good afternoon. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili. And these are your hard facts. The first hard fact of the day: it has been 3 weeks to the day since the army shot at peaceful protesters at the Lekki Tollgate. We're going to be talking about the army's testimony before the panel, both on the big three and on the big hard fact today. By the way, one of the survivors of the Lekki shooting, DJ Switch, has left the country. Remember, she's the one who was broadcasting what happened that night live on Instagram from her phone. After that, she gave interviews where she talked about watching people die. Since then, she says that she's been getting a lot of death threats, and because of that, she's had to leave her home. And now she's gotten asylum, reportedly, in Canada. Second hard fact of the day: Governor Sanwo-Olu has presented his draft budget to the House of Assembly. And he says he's going to scrap the law that gives pensions to past governors and deputy governors. Now, we're going to see, of course, if that happens. By the way, we're going to take a deep look at the Lagos State budget here on Hard Facts next week. Hopefully, we're going to have some details about it by then. Now, let me work for my own pension right here on Hard Facts. I've got to show all 674,000 of you what we have on the big set. Move trucks across the closed border. We're going to talk about the Southeast leaders praising the president's handling of EndSARS. And then let's talk about the army saying that it only fired blanks at the Lekki Tollgate. Now, remember, you can answer our big three questions on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM. We can also talk about the big three on Facebook, who are streaming live, Nigeria Info 99.3. On Community Report, Chukwudi got reports about clashes between rival gangs right here in Lagos. So he's going to be taking a look at communities in Bariga, Oworo, Agric, Ogolonto, right here in Lagos. A lot of reports about gang clashes, gang wars going on there. That's coming up at 4 o'clock. On the big hard fact, let's talk about the Lagos State Judicial Panel on SARS and the Lekki shooting. It's going on at the moment. And I'm going to be talking to the two F-Youngs again. Now, you get news updates at the top of every hour on the show. And after the news at 6, I'll hand you over to Rufai for conversations. We're still giving you a chance to win some money right here on Hard Facts, on the Morning Crossfire, on WhatsApp Lagos. And we call it Just a Minute. Now, you have to listen to every minute to be able to play Just a Minute. But right now, let's bring you the big three.
This is the Big Three.
The Big Three
on Hard Facts on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Are the biggest businesses in Nigeria playing by easier rules? Are Southeast leaders correct to say the president handled EndSARS with restraint? Which of the army's statements about the Lekki Tollgate shootings do you believe? Those are the big three. Let's talk Lagos. Our first story is about the land borders allegedly now being open for Dangote Cement trucks. Bloomberg is reporting that the Dangote Cement CEO said this himself. That's Michael Pucheros. Now, Pucheros did not make this announcement to the press. He was on an international call with investors and potential investors. So he was giving them an update on how things are going for the company. And he said since the third quarter of the year, the federal government has been letting Dangote Cement trucks cross the border into Niger Republic. He also said that they have permission to export to Togo. So I'm guessing that means that they're passing through Benin Republic, since we don't share a border with Togo. The company also said the government only gave them permission to export, quote, restricted volumes of cement. Now, this news is generating a lot of reaction on social media because remember, of course, that it's been over a year since the borders were closed. August 2019 was when Nigeria closed her land borders. And since then, we've been talking about it here on Hard Facts and we've been talking about all the ways that the border closure has affected businesses. Lots of businesses have shut down. Many have seen their revenues drop simply because they either cannot export their products or they cannot import their raw materials. So now it's being reported that some companies are getting special permission to export across the border. And the question of fairness has come up on social media at least. On social media at least, people are asking, where is the fairness? Where is day? Where the fairness day? Where is day? Atedo Peter Sai tweeted about it. He's the founder of Stanbic IBTC. And he said, quote, allowing legitimate exporters and importers to move their goods across the border should be a no-brainer. Why refuse everybody else and allow only one company, Dangote? This is why some of us argue that the Nigerian economy is rigged in favor of a handful of well-connected persons, end quote. I just read you his tweet. And this is not the first time that Atedo Peter Side has talked about this thing. It's not the first time he's called out the Nigerian system for allegedly favoring some businesses, especially Dangote. Listen to what he said in 2019.
The other thing I want to point out as well is that, it echoed in this room. Look, Aliko and I go back a long way. He's done phenomenally well. About 2 decades, done phenomenally well. Jim, Mike Adenuga and co. Let me tell you what they all have in common. They are all very combative personalities. Because of that, no regulator will go to them and try nonsense. Because most of them know how to deal with that regulator. We have to move beyond that, making Nigeria an economy only for the few people who are very combative. Some of us too are combative enough, so people know what's in regulation. Now let me continue, because those we are destroying are the 22-year-old entrepreneurs, the 25-year-old entrepreneurs. This economy is rigged against the youth, and it's not going to grow. When Aliko and I were 30, we were allowed to grow. Today, we're killing the youth from growing. So it's not going to grow. That's the point I'm making. And the reason, the things we have to correct, you see, any regulator that wants to get applause, just go after some people, destroy some businesses, and the more you destroy, the more they hail you. It's even proof that you're working. That's a paradigm shift. We have to get out of that complete nonsense. Without that, it will negate any monetary policy and everything else. Like Aliko too, I'm feeling it a little. But you see, but there's a big difference. No, when I say a little, let me explain. I've been a businessman, I'm an entrepreneur myself. There are some tax regulators. No, don't worry. Aliko, you've had your turn.
I have to, what I always say, even to the government, I said that on the judgment day,
yes,
God will say, okay, fine, why are those entrepreneurs from Nigeria? Once we raise our hands, it's okay, you cannot be punished twice. Go to heaven.
Okay.
So that was last year at a CBN conference for business leaders, and you heard Atedo Peter Side and Aliko Dangote in conversation there. So Peter Side is claiming that Nigerian regulators have a tendency to implement policies that choke businesses while giving exceptions to certain big men or big companies. And I wonder if you agree with Peter Side. Do you think Nigerian regulators give unfair exemptions to big players? 0700-993-993-993. Do you think they at times create policies that favor big companies and older players to the detriment of young people? What do you think about the Dangote CEO saying that government is letting them export cement across the border? 0700-993-993. We've got Davo in Lekki on the line. Hello, Davo. Thanks for calling.
A very good afternoon, Sandra.
A very good afternoon,
Just
Davo.
go on point. So the truth is that we used to have, in those days, I remember I work in Apapa, you see cement like Ashaka cement, Boma cement, Elephant cement. All those cements have died. And I believe it is deliberate government policy to frustrate. Very simple. Let me not take your time, but the truth is that everything is favored to Dangote. Example. I remember when Yaradua was alive, he said anybody that has the license of sugar, let him come. He will import sugar. How much was the price of sugar? Including cement. Cement during Yaradua time was 1,000 plus. Because other people were bringing cement, importing cement, and there was competition, fair competition, and then it brought down the price of cement. Immediately when Yaradua died, then everything was favored to Dangote. All the prices of everything, the cement now, is only, if you go to the market, it's only Dangote cement that is there. In fact, even Standard Organization of Nigeria might not even be doing the good checking to know what is the quality of Dangote cement. To just put the long story short, so there are so many things like that. In China, you see that there are more billionaires that are emerging every day. In fact, like there are boys that are doing a lot of expedition in arms, creating firearms and other things. Even small computers. A boy just did a radio, he constructed a radio in Kenya. In Nigeria, we have people like that, but you hardly see government encouraging those people. That's the truth. So sometimes, even for you to get a loan in Bank of Industry, you must have someone you know who you know. And that is the truth. That's why you see people are not even succeeding in business, including Lagos and all other parts of the country. But I really wish if you can really bring a guest like Imuda Yusuf from the Lagos Chamber of Commerce to continue to hit hard on this government. We will continue to talk. We'll never get tired. Thank you, Sandra, for a good job.
Thank
President
you so
Sandra.
much, Davo, for calling. I appreciate it. 99.3. Hello.
Hello,
Thanks for calling. What's your name?
this is Rita from Facebook.
Rita, welcome. Go ahead.
Okay.
Victor in Victoria Island is on the show. Hello, Victor. Go ahead.
Yes, it is clear what the CEO of Dangote Cement said. It is clear that the government is actually favoring Dangote. And when we talk, people will not understand why we are talking about this government. Please, I want to ask, where is the Beto? And the other young entrepreneur that was rising few years ago? Yeah, what is the reason why? What is the main reason this government closed those borders and allow only Dangote to trade? See, it is clear. I don't know if I talk and they say it's hate speech, but they know what they are doing, and God is to judge them. I am telling this government, though, they will reap what they sow. Thank you.
All right, Victor. Thank you very much. I understand, of course, that we're feeling very tense at the moment. But yes, please keep thinking about that hate speech thing and those fines that people like to dish out. Just keep thinking about it and let that guard your utterances. We've got Tony on the line. Tony is in Victoria Island. Hello, Tony.
Hello, Sandra.
How are you? Welcome. Go ahead.
Yeah. In the United States, you have what you call antitrust laws to prevent stuff like this from happening.
Yeah.
It happened with Microsoft, and it happened in quite a few other cases. Which one was the latest one last year? Or no, this year, a couple of months back. One company cannot dominate the entire commercial space in Nigeria. It's not done. I mean, we have some of the best policy creators in Nigeria, in this country. Yet, when it comes to putting it to actual fruition, none, zero, nothing. Dangote alone cannot keep exporting, importing, having all the licenses and doing everything. No, not done. It's painful. It's painful. Thank you.
Thank you so much for calling, Tony. It's a good thing he brought up America, because in America we also saw it with phone companies. Bell Telephone Company was broken into regional companies at the time, and it's how a company like AT&T was founded, for instance. Jonathan Igbo says, "Dear Sandra, kindly be informed that Dangote Cement is being sold." For 4,000 naira in the south, but 800 naira equivalent in Ghana. The government that closed the border in hardship but opened it to benefit the favored one. I don't know if I can confirm the price that you've quoted for me, Jonathan. If you have some sort of proof, if you have a link that can prove what you're saying to me, I'll really appreciate it. Let's talk to Rita in Festac. I think Rita is calling us back. Well, hello, Rita. Okay. Joy Forever on Twitter says, the economy is rigged for some people. How can only Dangote cross the border and not everyone? Only him in NPA zones. They exempt them from taxes. Southeast only blowing trumpet of sycophancy. Army were not there. They only fired blank bullets. God is watching us. Yes, this person is talking about our 3 stories. We're about to move to the second story, but let's talk to Isaiah in Surulere first. Isaiah, how are you?
I'm fine, Sandra.
Welcome. Go ahead.
What is happening is that you know that this country, we only favor the big men. How they will allow a single person to be selling the whole goods in Nigeria, selling cement, sugar, salt, different and Indomie noodles. All the business of Nigeria belong to Dangote. Here we cannot move. We cannot move on except they change the tactics and give others a license to be import and export. Thank you. God bless you.
Bless you as well, Isaiah. Thank you so much for calling us. Now, I remember that, the first few times we talked about this issue, a lot of you told me that closing the border was a good thing. You told me that border closure was a good move, right? Now, if it's such a good move, how come some companies are allegedly being given exemptions? Food for thought. But our second story is about EndSARS. The Southeast governors say that they believe the federal government handled the protests very well. So Ibrahim Gambari, the president's chief of staff, led a presidential delegation to Enugu. You had the IG of police there, Mohammed Adamu. You had Lai Mohammed there, the information minister. Chris Ngige was there, his labor. Geoffrey Onyama is foreign affairs, and a few others were there as well. And they met with a group of political and cultural leaders from the Southeast. All the 5 Southeast governors were there. Either the governors or their deputies attended that event. You also had senators from the zone and House of Reps members. And on the cultural side, you had traditional rulers and you had Nwodo there as well. He's the president of Ohanes Ndigbo worldwide. And in their statement, the Southeast leaders said, quote, "We thank President Buhari for the speed and restraint with which he handled the EndSARS protest, which has engendered peace throughout the country, especially the Southeast. We therefore request the President to look into demands of various groups and youths with a view to resolving them," end quote. So first things first, do you agree with the Southeast leaders that the president's handling of the EndSARS protests showed speed and restraint? That's the first question. Now, when it comes to speed, some people agree because, well, the protesters are no longer on the streets. But others disagree because, according to them, the legitimate demands have not yet been met. So it's not enough to end the protests. You also have to address the issues that caused the protests in the first place. And then you come to the second one. Has government shown restraint? Some say yes, government has shown restraint because if not, the army and the police would have killed or wounded many more Nigerians. But others have said you cannot say that there has been restraint if you calculate everything the government has allegedly done. We have frozen accounts, which were allegedly done before a court order was granted. We have at least one person getting their passport seized without a reason, but her passport has been given back to her days after she missed her flight. We have EndSARS protesters still in custody right now. We have protesters who were beaten by police officers in Orile, Surulere, Abuja. We have those who were killed at the Lekki Tollgate. So when you answer my questions about whether the federal government has shown restraint, I'm asking you to look at those things and decide if those were proper, proportional responses to a peaceful protest. 0700 993 993 993 0700 993 993 993. You can also share your thoughts with us via WhatsApp. WhatsApp is 080 959 75805. First message on WhatsApp: the rulers in the Southeast are political bootlickers and they made statements for pecuniary reasons. Ihang Yobata said that. Ihang Yobata is in Surulere. Sandra, you're doing a good job. Keep up doing what you're doing. God bless you. Arinzo Biagu says, well, thank you. We've got more messages here on WhatsApp. John Gold from Ojo says, well, that's a message for Joyce. She's not on the show anymore. Sam in Ikorodu, hello. Thanks for calling.
Thank you very much, Auntie Sandra.
Welcome. Go ahead.
Yeah, yes. I will agree with the this Eastern Bloc, that the president responded swiftly, and that is when he quickly accepted the 5-point demand. Although the protest would have overlapped when the president accepted the 5-point demand and give them time to work out things. Then East Bloc now, the Southeast, the Southwest, and maybe Niger Delta, should now mount the pressure on the president to carry out drastic reforms, economic reform, social reform. The EndSARS protest is just a pointer to the fact that Nigerians are not happy with the way things are going. Both the youth, the adults, everybody. And this is an opportunity for the government now to gather all these people together and make sure they take a drastic step. I'm surprised to hear that the National Assembly are saying that they said the president should not ignore the youth. They are the people to initiate the law, to impose the president to act. So they shouldn't just tell the president he should not ignore the youth. Let they themselves take a step there. Then they will put on the president to obey the law. That is what I believe should happen.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sam, for calling. Francis in Victoria Island, how are you?
I'm fine, and good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
There are many issues to react on, but on the Southeastern government, I truly want to appeal to them. If they don't have anything good to say for now, they shouldn't just add their voice to this, because we, the Southeastern youth, we are coming for them. They haven't done well. They have bad road all over the Southeast, and they are collecting security votes, and it's a lot of insecurity in the part of Southeast. We are coming for them, and when we come for them, they shouldn't say that the youth is becoming lawless. Thank you.
Thank you for calling, Francis. We appreciate it. You know, somebody on WhatsApp says that the protesters were not asking for economic reform. This person is replying, Sam. And Drew says the protesters were not asking for economic reform. They wanted reform of the police. Why not start there? Let's talk to more people who are calling the show. 0700-993-993. What do you think about the Southeast leaders praising President Buhari's response to the EndSARS protests for being fast and restrained? What do you think about that? We've got more calls. 99.3. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name?
My name is Michael.
Michael, good to have you on the show. Go ahead.
I want to talk about the number one, the Dangote case.
Yes, go ahead.
Oh.
All right, Michael, call back if you can. We've got Leo in Bariga on the line. Hello, Leo. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon, sir. Push your radio off.
Okay, it's far away from me. Okay, hold on. I have to run too.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, the South is whatever they call themselves. They are there for themselves.
Okay.
They are beneficiary from this areas of the nation. So what do you expect them to do? What do you expect them to say? They have been saying so all along. The Igbo people start complaining of marginalization. This is the way they marginalize themselves, and they say that it's the government. How can somebody say that the government acted swiftly after how many days? They did not say anything until the thing go gaga. In short, they are evil supporters. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for calling us, Leo. Let's take more calls. 99.3. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. What's your name?
Yes, my name is Victor. Please, what do you expect the Southeast governors or the people that call themselves leaders to say? Well, it's actually a shame that somebody will beat you, kill you, and you still call him Uncle Andre. That is arrant thing. And let me tell you, they should go and they're not living any Igbo people. They shouldn't even call themselves leaders. Who are they? Just tell them that we are coming for them.
Well, they're your governors and your ministers and your Ohanes and Igbo leaders.
mere money mongers. They are mere money mongers, hungry individuals who doesn't want to do anything. We are coming for them. When the time comes, they will run away.
All right, thanks for calling. If you just joined the show, you're listening to Hard Facts on 99.3 Nigeria Info. We start the show every day with three of the biggest stories in the country. And one of such stories is the Southeast governors saying that they believe the federal government handled the protests very well. The president's chief of staff led a presidential delegation to Enugu where the IG of police, Lai Mohammed, Chris Ngige, Geoffrey Onyama, governors of the Southeast or their deputies were present, cultural leaders were present, members of the Senate and the House of Reps from the zone were present. And they said in their statement, we thank President Buhari for the speed and restraint with which he handled the EndSARS protests, which have engendered peace throughout the country, especially the Southeast. We therefore request the President to look into demands of various groups and youths with a view to resolving them. And now the question I'm asking is if you agree with the Southeast leaders that the president's handling of the EndSARS protests showed speed and restraint. Do you agree that the government has shown restraint? 0700-993-993-993. WhatsApp is 080-959-75805. I'm going to go to Facebook in a bit. Facebook is Nigeria Info 99.3. Nigeria Info 99.3. We've got an anonymous caller on the line. Let's talk to this anonymous caller first, and then we'll go to Facebook. Hello.
Hello, Sandra.
How are you?
Good, and good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, I want to just contribute on this so-called, sorry to use the word so-called.
No, it's okay.
Igbo governors. Okay,
so-called is not an insult. Go ahead.
Yeah, the Igbo governors saying that President Buhari for quick resolving of this SARS. You see, the Igbos, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if these people are politicians. You see, why should it be the Easterners, the Eastern governors, making this kind of statements? And tomorrow they will say they are marginalized.
Well, everybody has. Anonymous. Anonymous. Everybody.
I'm so disgraced to.
Anonymous. Anonymous.
Hello? Yeah?
Everybody has said something. The Southwest governors have also said something. The northern governors said something.
If they don't have what to say, must they say something? At this point, if you don't know what to say, must you have to be forced to say something? I have to tell you the level of governorships we have at the eastern level. I'm so disappointed. I mean, I'm belittled as an Igbo person to hear that from those funny governors. Anyway, they know they are governing themselves. They're not governing the Igbos. And they know that zone is worst. The West can contain what is happening, but when it happens in the East, in the Eastern zone, they don't have the power to contain it. And they will not be able to contain it. So I wish them the best.
Thank you, Anonymous, for calling. By the way, while we've been talking, Atedo Peter Side just tweeted, quote, I have since learned that BUA Group were also allowed to export goods through Nigeria's closed land borders. FG should please accept that what is good for the goose is also good for the gander. When will the FG consider small, honest businesses that are not so well connected? End of quote. Remember, that's our first story, by the way. That was our first story, by the way. We talked about the government letting Dangote Cement move trucks across the closed border. Of course, the Dangote Group did not talk to the press. Bloomberg is reporting that the CEO said this to investors and potential investors on a phone call. He was giving them an update on how things are going for the company. And he said that since the third quarter of the year, the federal government has been letting Dangote Cement trucks cross the border into Niger Republic. He also said that they have permission to export to Togo. Now, I'm guessing that that means that they are passing through Benin Republic, since we don't share a border with Togo. So if what Dangote Cement is saying is correct, right now, some companies are being allowed to do business across the border, while some companies are not. And remember that our borders have been closed for over a year. It was closed in August 2019. And since then, we've talked so many times here on Hard Facts about the businesses that are suffering as a result of this, the cost of raw materials as a result of this. And now we're getting reports that some companies are getting special permission to export across the border. So is this a fair arrangement? Do you think that Nigerian regulators give unfair exemptions to big players?